What is going on, guys? Fighting Game Select is here. We are back and more with some Street Fighter 6. We're going to go ahead and talk about a little bit the direction of the CPT. I got the professional creator himself right now, Punk the guy in the building, aka Pink as his alias. What's good, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How you, Kizzie?
Yo, bro, how you feeling, man? How you feeling about the CPT overall right now?
I think overall is good, of course, because we finally got more offline tournaments instead of one, which was like Evo for a while, and then last year they added two more. So I guess we had a total of three last year, but I feel like that's still so little, right? And then they're kind of like all spread apart, really far across the world. So like for me, I didn't even go to any of the offline events last year, so I didn't even really get to experience that outside of Evo. But this year they actually have, I think, about, is it like eight, six or eight?
Yeah,
Yes,
eight,
yeah.
if I'm not
So
mistaken.
that's like really good, and there are like two in each region, like the popular regions, pretty much. So that kind of just is really cool that you can actually have different regions or try to qualify. Since people' biggest complaint usually be that they can't afford the travel and stuff. So I feel
Yeah.
like since they have them in so many different places, like the DR now and things like that, like those kind of players, they can actually come and try to play in now and don't have to worry about traveling across the world and spending a lot of money.
Yeah, another thing too that I think is really important for us players is that the fact that you get a chance to get that international experience before the big event, before the big, pretty much the big tournament, which is Capcom Cup. Getting a chance, you got people flying across the country trying to qualify. You're going to get a chance to get an understanding of that level of play, and I think that's going to not only elevate your gameplay, but also brings more competition and more quality into matches. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I agree. My biggest thing with trying to go and play offline these days is not actually knowing how anyone plays, since there's no like footage of anyone outside of the few, maybe one or two offline events. Everything else is just like online matches that, like, realistically it's not really the same kind of thing. While I feel like when people play me, or they can just go look online, and there's so many like actually matches of me trying hard in tournaments online, where it's like there's not really many people outside of, like, I guess like me and Knuckle do, where you can really go and just look at us play and just study how we play completely in tournaments, because it's not like we're playing in those online tournaments, we're not gonna try at all, right? We still trying because there is some money on the line. But everyone else, I feel like, they, all the other really great players, you don't really understand how they play. You can go look at them play a ranked match or a battle lounge, but it's really not the same. People don't do the same things or play the same way that they play in casual, so you don't really get a complete understanding on how to actually make a strategy for them. But with a lot of events coming back, I feel like that's a very big thing that will change now, and it'll help a lot of players who actually like to train that kind of way.
I think offline brings back a lot of consistency, right? Because now when you go into places, you know how that person plays, you know who that person is, you got an experience of that. But like I personally didn't understand why when everything was like online, and then like sometimes you don't even know that the stream happening, and then you're like, oh, these guys won, and it's like they go in and you're just like, man, you got two games to figure out what's going on, and these people got all footage of everything of you. And obviously, like, you got to be a good player and things like that. But when we're coming to like something that's going to be like a big event, I feel like it's supposed to be equal footing at that point. And for a long time, I feel like it was a slight disadvantage for people who are very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now that we're kind of finding a balance where it's now online and have online, offline and online, are you looking forward to kind of like how the structure of the World Warriors going so far?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, they added like the super regions. So the regions that a lot of people consider harder, they get two chances in the World Warrior, and it kind of rewards consistency now. Like before, you have someone like Endon Walker, I think, who like won every last World Warrior that he's ever participated in, and then he lost the finals, and he just doesn't qualify, even though he won about five in a row. So it's like,
That's crazy.
I feel like now, like, he would never have to worry about that again, right? If he win all 5, you done. You good to go qualify in, since there's, or I don't know if the UK is a super region, but I'm just using it as an example. You win or you consistent, and you're number 1 on that leaderboard, then you get the spot. And they took away just the one online premiere, which I actually like a lot for, because I think you can wake up one day and just be playing horrible, right? Like, and then someone that usually doesn't play that good, or they're just decent, they can just wake up and just be like, today I'm feeling really good. Got my coffee, all that.
I hate that.
And then they just washing everybody. You don't really know what happened. And then you play them again next time and it's just back to normal. So I feel like they're like avoiding that kind of thing now, where you can't just be like, I'm going to play really good this day. I'm going to focus all my time in practice for all the few good players that I got in my path. And I'm going to just try to study them as hard as I can. But now you'll have to keep that consistency up. So if you beat someone one time, now you have to play them again. And they might come back with a new strategy now. And it's going to be harder for you. So there's no more of the, just one tournament. That person, when he qualifies, they qualify. Now it's, you have to keep doing it. And then you have to qualify for the 8-man regional finals, which is really good also. So I don't really know. The only problem I have, because I don't really know if the person that is number 1 on the leaderboard, do they still just play in the regional finals, or will they just give it to like 2 through 9, since the first place already qualified? But there might also be money in the regional finals. So I don't really know how that would work. Personally, I think they should just let the next like 8 people and don't let the number 1 guy play, because it's just kind of pointless.
There's no point.
Even with the money, there's still just no point at the end of the day. Like, you qualified, so like at least let another person, what if that person that got 9th place, he might win that tournament, right? So
yeah.
So I think that person definitely should not be allowed to play. But if they allow it, you can't really knock someone for wanting to try to win extra money.
How do you feel about East Coast not being like a super region? And the reason why I bring this up is because
the East Coast is super region.
Oh, East Coast is super region?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just...
I think everywhere in America is a super region.
Okay, so everywhere in America is super. Okay. For some reason, I thought East Coast, West Coast was not a super region. Okay.
I don't agree with it. I don't think all of America should be a super region, because I feel like they just taking off. I honestly feel like they take from the work that pretty much the East Coast does, right? Like, the East Coast is obviously the strongest region in America, and pretty much all the players these days, all the greatest ones, they all live in the East Coast. But I feel like the Capcom seen that, and they're like, okay, so since it's America, we have to reward all of them because they're American, right? But I feel like that shouldn't really be the case, because if we're putting in all the work, why should everyone get the rewards for the one region players, So for me, it's a little weird. I don't think that every region in America, I understand West Coast, because I think West Coast is a bit hard region too. They have a lot of good players, and even like from the past, from a long time ago. But obviously, like, I'm sure people seen my tweet. I don't really think the Midwest deserves it. I have friends and stuff in the Midwest. I don't know if they're upset, but like, I feel like they just don't really deserve it, right? And also they kicked Canada out of the region, where
that's why
I
think
Canada.
That's my biggest issue.
It makes no sense to me. Canada was destroying them, so they said, you know what? Let's go give them to the East Coast, the region that already has, players that's the Midwest just can't beat at all, and they just like, all right, we're gonna add these players that the Midwest also couldn't beat, and we're gonna put them all together, because they got like top. I think 3 of them got top 4 in their tournament. Top 2 was all Canada, and I think 3rd was a Midwest player, and then 4th was another Canadian.
Yep.
And so it's like, I don't really understand why they get that. And then they also took Canada's like World Warrior away, when they technically were better than the Midwest, right? Like, if we look at the thing, like, the Safe even had got top 8 at Capcom Cup. So
yeah.
Safe make sense.
Safe showed me that Canada needs to be like legit have their own stuff.
Yeah, like,
in my opinion,
or maybe not their own, but like something, you know. I don't think they should be with the East Coast. Like they should have stayed at least with the Midwest because that's just where they've been, and I think it makes a lot of sense geographically, at least for some of the areas in Canada that's literally right above the Midwest. But they just said, nah, we just want to take them out completely. We don't care where they at.
Yeah, I think that's really unfortunate. And like, I agree. I got a lot of homies from Midwest too, but West Coast has Snake Eyes, Nephew, 801 Strider, like all these dudes that are like,
Well, Strider doesn't
pretty.
even live there anymore now. He's at East Coast too now.
He in East Coast?
Yeah, he's in Canada. He lives somewhere in Canada now, I believe. So like,
Random.
yeah, even he's in our region now.
Damn. I never even knew Gustavo moved out. That's funny, bro. Well, I mean, I even says even. I mean, if he East Coast, then I even says it even more. That proves the point, right? But yeah, like when I think of obviously how the infrastructure is, they really their goal is to really try to get more people opportunities to get
Yeah.
a chance, right? And I don't agree that making a structure and then sacrificing like kind of like a region that kind of really showed himself that like this is fine, like it was no issue here. It's a bit sus, right? I want to say shout outs to Canada because Canada did great last year. I don't think anybody expected Canada to
Yeah,
do
definitely
what they
not
did.
for sure.
Yeah, like we thought they was just gonna chill with the maple syrup, that what I mean. Nobody was expecting them to dominate top 8 like that or top 16 to top 8. I just want to say that I'm so happy that now I feel like all the consistent players that you like, even all the players that are really consistent right now, I feel like all of you guys are gonna have a chance to qualify.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that's very cool. I mean, it makes it feel like every tournament matters now in the World Warrior. Where sometimes I'm like, I won one or two. I don't care to play in the third one or something like that because I'm just like, I'm tired, and I feel like 1 or 2 seed doesn't really matter too much, And
Yeah, it really doesn't.
yeah, it doesn't really matter. So
It used to matter, but I don't think it matters at this point now, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm just like, I mean, I won't enter all the tournaments probably because maybe I'm just tired one day, and there's not really any money in the World Warrior outside the finals. So you don't really play for any money or anything. You just kind of play to get us to one of the top 8 spots. But once that's secured, you don't really have to care. But now I think it's cool that literally every single tournament will mean something. If you miss one and you're in first place, and then that second place guy happen to wins, you might go to third or something, because who knows if the third guy might even do really well in the next one, right? So now every single tournament is going to matter. Everyone's going to be entering them. I'm sure they're going to be sweaty. The World Warriors this year are going to be so sweaty, and people are going to be trying their hardest every time one of those happen. And there's so many in the world, right? You have every region pretty much has one. So I feel like it's going to be very good this year just to watch those tournaments.
Man, I feel like for you're gonna have some popcorn out watching all the regions, man.
Yeah,
And I know
it.
you're gonna be spitting some. Yo, I gotta say, I got one last question for you, man. For now that we're going back to offline, and you're gonna be traveling like offline and out, and knowing how kind of like they announced that the balance is not gonna be structured as one for the whole
Yeah.
year. Are you gonna shake things up with a couple of characters, bro? Or you want to keep that on the down low?
I mean, I honestly don't know. I would just have to wait till the changes. Like, I'm never gonna like, even if I like a character, if they get nerfed too much, I'm not gonna keep playing them. I'm always gonna switch. Like, I don't have any loyalty to a character. I feel like people who do that to themselves, they set themselves up for failure. Especially if you just play one character in every game, you're banking on that character being good in every single game, and then if they get nerfed, you're banking on playing them and being good enough to win. But I feel like these days it's just too hard to win with a character that's not so good, because there's people who counterpick, And if your character's already not amazing, and then they're sitting there picking a horrible matchup, chances are you're not going to beat that person. If they playing that matchup, they probably played it consistently with someone in their region that they practiced it with. It's just like, I just look at the characters. Like, there's a few set characters that I like, and I'll go around them and see if any of them are good. And then if I like how I'm doing with them, then I'll just start playing them.
Yeah, nice. Well, you already know, man. We're gonna be rooting for you, bro. Ex Panda member, now you Fly Quest Pink, so I gotta root for my boy, dog.
I appreciate it. It's hard.
Hell yeah, man. I know it's hard, man. You're a creator and you're a player and you're an entertainer, bro. You're literally doing all of the three, bro. And then you gotta go play the landmines, bro. The ones that be coming out of nowhere with the woodwork, no footage of ever, but they got all the takes on you.
All of it. And they
All
got
of
tech.
it, bro. And you gotta take a picture with them. You set up, bro. But look, hey man, I wanna say thank you so much for coming here, bro. And where can they find you, dude?
You can find me anywhere at Punk the God, DA, not THE, all social medias and YouTube. You can just find me there as that.
Man, tell me what your thoughts, man. What are you looking forward to? Who do you think is going to be the region that everybody? What do you think is the region that's going to come out as the strongest? You guys let us know in the comment section below. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Bye bye.